Hey guys, good to be back with you once again, and we're set for our next game. And if you've looked at what the title of this video is, you already know what it's going to be. We're going to play with Action PC Baseball, and let me tell you, we have a little bit of a surprise here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this around and just sort of show you what this looks like. I did a quick auto replay of the 1955 season. This is using the newest edition of Action PC Baseball. In fact, I will show this to you. 2026 edition, 12/23/2025, which means it has the latest update. It was very, very interesting to sort of see what happened here in this season. So all I did is I just sort of set it up and had it play automatically. I believe it used automatic real-life lineups and transactions. The Brooklyn Dodgers won in the National League only by 4.5 games and only managed to win 87 games. National League was actually pretty tight. I'm just comparing the standings here with real life. There wasn't really that much of a difference in the standings, actually. That was probably about the same as you would expect. The difference, though, is in the American League, where the Detroit Tigers, who were fifth in real life, ended up winning the pennant, beating out Cleveland by a game, the White Sox by 3 games, and the Yankees by 4. Boston ended up finishing 12 games back, which is exactly what they did in real life, actually. So it's not necessarily that far off. But it's interesting that the Tigers improved from a 79-75 record to 93-61. So there you have it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go through and play through the World Series, as is the custom, as I've been doing for quite some time now. I'm not going to have my face on top of everything, so I can use some of this stuff as B-roll for other videos. I will tell you, however, that Action PC Baseball is a very, very clumsy game. It is incredibly clumsy, and it drives me nuts. This is one of the parts that drives me nuts. So I took a look on Facebook, which is where most of the Action PC players are, and I noticed that the vast majority of people, when it comes to setting this up and to playing a postseason, will just take everything and put it in its own new folder to play the World Series, which is not a good sign. The other thing is, and I hate to put it to you guys like this, but the vast majority of people I found on Facebook, the forums, and so on were utterly unhelpful when it came to explaining why they were doing this bizarre thing and why they've set things up the way that they have. I mean, it's sort of up to you. You can set it up, I guess, however you really want to set it up. But it's just a little bit odd to me that that would be kind of the way that this worked. So I guess I put the bracket there in the finals, and then I think that I have to click on play. I did this before and it gave me game preferences, and then I realized I couldn't get out of anything, and so I had to exit the entire program, do a hard exit to be able to get out of this to go through and start the video, which itself is really odd. And you got to get used to stuff like this with Action PC Baseball. This is all programmed, as far as I can tell, in Visual Basic. Visual Basic is very archaic, anyway, I'm not going to go into more details about what it is I think about all of this, but it's okay. We're going to have fun. We're going to play. We're going to turn all sorts of stuff on. We don't want to use the narrator. That would be really dumb. I mean, whatever. All of this should turn off automatically anyway, but yeah, I'm not going to use the narrator. By the way, in case you're wondering, I am running this on Windows 7. You can see this as I go down here to the bottom. There's the beautiful old Windows start screen. The reason why I'm running this on Windows 7 is because it's actually a lot more stable than Windows 10, let alone Windows 11. Windows 11 is an absolute nightmare. You should be using Linux. Anyway, but I'm not going to go into too much detail about that. We do have the video chalkboard on, which was the important thing I wanted to see. Everything here is just set to the way that it is by default. We have the home park set up. I didn't set up every ballpark, as it takes forever to set this stuff up. And I'm probably actually, though, going to have to spend some time actually setting up the ballpark display. So I think that we're about to run into that problem in a second. So we'll take a look here. We get all sorts of little tips. Where it's very, very much so a lot of this stuff is very similar to how OTP runs. We'll see all of this later on when we play with the OTP. Anyway, Roger Craig is starting for the Dodgers in Game 1, which is a kind of bizarre decision. So we'll just let the computer choose this here. I don't know who we want to pitch. So let's see what's going on here with our team and who it is that we have available to us. This is wonderful. And look, I can pick up a guy and do nothing with him. Okay, all sorts of interesting things going on here. So there's going to be a, yeah, I am trying to left click. There's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, I think. We're going to have Billy Huft. Start there. So there we go. And I think in a minute, I'm going to end up having to 13 players over the roster limit. Do I have to do this manually is my next question. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do about that. Yeah, why is it that we have 48 players here on the roster? Let's see what we can do here. That's not going to do anything. All right, so I don't really want to pause this right now. Okay, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to figure this out first. We're going to come back to this screen, and then we'll kind of go from there. So I do want to make sure, though, that I show you this first so that you can see all of the many problems that come with Action PC Baseball. So more to come. Talk to you in a sec. All right, I'm back now. After quite a bit of finagling and figuring stuff out, I figured out where the issue was. So there is a way that you can set things after I went in and made sure to set everything to computer-controlled roster and force it to choose 25 players. When you then choose your lineup and choose your starting pitcher, that is when it will revert everything to the actual 25-man roster setting. So it doesn't happen basically until the last possible second. But if you look here, now that I've got everything set up, all of a sudden this went from 40 players available to 25 players available, which is what we wanted all along. Yeah, I will do my best to refrain from making very, very sarcastic commentary about this game, but I'm telling you that the way that this works is not acceptable. Every single version I've played of Action PC Baseball ends up being much more complex than the version that came before it, and there's a lot of sort of bloat that's going on with this game. And it's a problem, and it needs to be recognized as a problem in the community. There are too many people who are too quick to just sort of take this game as the gospel truth. So let's see what we can do here. We'll start this game. I'm not so sure about the resolution quality of this image, but it's all right. I will say that though that the anthem sounds a little bit better than it did in the app of Baseball for DOS game, so that's a plus. All right, so let's see what we can do here. Now, I will notice it's not as bad as I thought. I thought that I was going to have to manually set up, where everybody is located. Can I get rid of these do you know things? Tell me somewhere in the comments how to get rid of the do you know things that are driving me nuts. Anyway, all of the players are set up exactly the way that I want them to be. Why is this coming up again? All right. And so we'll go ahead and start the game. I do want to make sure, though, first off, that I have things set up so that I'm in pitch-by-pitch mode and not play-by-play mode. So let's see if we can figure out an easy way to find this. So again, coming from Diamond Mine Baseball, it's a little bit different here in that I'm used to being able to go up and click on a certain thing, and then that switches it from one mode to the next. Here we go. It's down here at the bottom, at bat mode. For the third time we hear this. Pitch mode, that's what we want. And that first pitch is hit over to right field. Everything sort of disappeared on me. That was Sandy Amoros was leading off for the Dodgers, which is an interesting choice there for the computer. And he had a fly ball over to right field. It was Al Kaline grabbing that one for the out, and there's one away. That brings up Walker here, who's hitting second. What's going on with the Brooklyn lineup? This is very interesting. All right, let's see what happens. He hits a ground ball up the middle. He's going to be fielded there by the second baseman on to first base for the out. See, look at this, 0-2 count. So apparently we are not in pitch mode. We went over to at-bat mode. This hopefully is not going to be too much of a struggle for me to try to fight against this game. And we get to play a whole series of this. So just imagine. Next pitch is swung on. What was it? Was it Keller there who was up next? Is a little fly ball over to left field, and that does it for the out. It was Keller. And so just like that, the Dodgers are out of the first inning. No runs, no hits, nothing across. I need to make it so that it stays in let's see here, so that it stays in pitch-by-pitch mode instead of going over to play-by-play mode. Let's see if we can figure out how to do this. See, one of the issues that I have with this game is that there's a lot of stuff that the game is capable of doing, but figuring out where the settings are for everything is a real pain in the neck, which is why it's a good thing that I'm doing all of this and figuring all of this out here on this video. So there should be a way to make it so that this stays permanently in pitch-by-pitch mode, so I don't have to change it every single pitch or every single at-bat. You would think that there would be something in rules, but apparently not. I'm not seeing anything here that would give me that setting. Anyway, this is as I've said before, and see, I changed this over to 25, and it doesn't change here at all. There's all sorts of bizarre things going on with this game. I tell you, it's very, very interesting. Go back over here to game preferences and see if there's anything that we can find here. It's kind of cool as you can choose, different play-by-play files and stuff like that. But what I would really like to see is, can I change play-by-play to pitch-by-pitch, or am I going to just be stuck with this? Pitch-by-pitch mode, here we go. Inning one and later, inning one and later. Always, yes, we want always. There we go, okay. Now we're going to get back to this one. We have Harvey Keene. For some reason, whenever I click on anything, it brings up everybody, which is not what I wanted to have happen. Harvey Keene against Roger Craig. So interesting decisions there by Brooklyn. And he takes a ball, 1-0. And there's another ball, 2-0, that was low and in the dirt. And it's 3-0 now. We'll have him take this pitch, and there's ball 4, and so Keene ends up over first base. So despite all of the... and you know what? I just realized I haven't been playing you the desktop audio, so we'll go ahead and turn that on. That would definitely make it a little bit less worth watching in that case. Keene, not a particularly fast runner. Despite all of the frustrations I've had with the game, there's some pretty nice things happening, is what I was about to say, including all of the sounds, which are nice. We play hit and run. Looks like that was a ball, a swing and a miss, I'm sorry, by Torgerson, and Keene is able to steal second base. So he's got his first stolen base here of the playoffs. Or of the World Series, I should say. And so Torgerson's still up there to bat. Now, you'll notice down here that his photo is from a different team. I just downloaded the photo pack and sort of went for it because we don't have easily accessible photo packs for like every single season in baseball history. So we had to make a little bit of an exception for that. Torgerson takes a strike, and it's 0-2. And there's a ball. 1-2 is the count on him. And that's a ball outside, it looks like. Up high, actually, 2-2. And there's the ball inside, so that means it's a full count. And that's hit foul over to the right side. Foul ball, the count remains full. We'll pop up over to center field. That's going to be playable. It's caught there by who does Brooklyn have in center field? Who is playing out there? Sandy Amorose is playing out there, which is kind of odd. So they decided they're not starting Jackie Robinson. They're not starting Duke Snider. I'm interested to know kind of what happened to the Brooklyn Dodgers lineup here. Yeah, not starting Gil Hodges, Duke Snider, Carl Furillo, Roy Campanella, Jackie Robinson, or Don Zimmer. For whatever reason. They're on the roster, so at least the computer decided to leave them on the roster. It's maybe because we have a left-handed pitcher, I suppose, but I mean, you're taking away like the National League MVP, Snyder, who really should have been the MVP. Anyway, here's Al Kaline with a runner on second base, 1 out. And he'll take a ball, 1-0. And there's another ball, 2-0 to count. It's hit over to left field. It's not going to go very far, I think. No, that ends up getting a little bit of an airstream, and that's going to be a home run there for Al Kaline. So the Tiger is able to get to a quick 2-0 lead against this Dodger team that looks like it's a September team, honestly. Kaline hits one 358 feet out to make this a 2-1 lead for the Tigers, and Detroit has its first hit. So the Tigers, really surprising team in the American League here in 55, keep it going. Up next is Ray Boone, who takes the ball high and inside, 1-0. A little ground ball over to short. Fielded by number 5, but the Dodgers have 2 guys who are number 5, so we'll have to take a look here and see. That is Pee Wee Reese out there. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is the fielding rating is what that is. We should figure out a way to change that. There's going to be a lot of this. Fielder labels needs to be your uniform number, I think. We don't need to know all of that stuff. And yeah, this is what we want here. We want the chalkboard labels is what we want, not the rating. We want the uniform number. Okay, there we go. And it's Frank House now as I click on whatever it is I'm clicking on again. So 2 outs now, and here's House, bottom of the first. Takes the ball, looks like it was way inside. Yeah, almost hit him, 1-0. And there's a strike, 1-1. Craig coming back with that one. This is popped up behind the plate. That'll go out of play. 1-2. And that's called strike 3. I'm sorry, swing and a miss of that one for strike 3. So Craig gets the strikeout, and we go to the top of the second inning. So it took us a little bit of time to get into this game, but now that we have, it's pretty nice. And Brooklyn comes up. It'll be Pee Wee Reese. He pops one up to center field. That is deep, 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 and that is caught near the warning track by Tuttle for the first out, 1 away. That will bring up now George Shuba. Shuba takes the ball inside. Shuba in the replay hit 275, 422 on base percentage, and was able to slug fairly well. And he takes the ball outside. It says the ball outside. That's the reason why. It's because he's over here. 2-0. Another fly ball over to center field, and this one's deep, and Tuttle drifts back and catches that for the out. And just like that, there are 2 away. There's a ball inside now to Don Hope, 1-0. And another ball outside, 2-0. It's popped up. That'll be out of play, 2-1. And it's a ball inside, 3-1 now the count on Ralph. There's the strike. Don Hope. Full count now. And that one missed. Looked like that was low, I think. Let's see what they call it here. Way outside and high. I'm sorry. You can't really trust what the chalkboard shows you. Runner on at first base here for Jim Gilliam, who takes the ball. Surprises me that they're hitting Gilliam 7th, but the computer must know what it's doing. This is fouled away. That should be out of play, I think. Oh man, this is painful. That is out of play. 1-1. There's the ball. 2-1 out of the count. A ground ball back to the pitcher, and he throws on to first base for the out. And that does it. So we go to the bottom of the second inning. Tigers still leading 2-0. And that will bring up Bill Tuttle, the center fielder. Tuttle takes a strike, 0-1. It's hit over deep to center field, but not quite deep enough. That's going to be caught there by Ambrose for the out, and there's 1 away. Fred Hatfield up next, the second baseman, takes the ball. It's popped behind the plate, and I think it's playable. And it's out of play. No, that was not playable there. I thought that Walker had a chance at that, but he didn't. And there's a strike. It's 1-2. Ball 2-2 as Craig misses. Ground ball to short. Reese on to first for the out. Plenty of time. And we have 2 outs now in the bottom of the second inning. It'll be Jim Delsing. He takes the ball, 1-0. Ground ball over second base. And Gilliam fields it and flips it to Craig covering at first base, which is a little bit odd. I'm not entirely sure I understand why Keller wasn't covering at first base. So that's one of your rare 4-1 putouts. I don't think I've ever seen one of those. We can do some research on that maybe later on and see. Anyway, we go to the top of the third inning. Tigers still ahead, 2-0. There's a strike to Bob Borkowski. Bob Borkowski, who hit 105 in the replay. Okay, and he's got a 1-1 count on him now. And a ball, 2-1. Why did they have Borkowski starting? 3-1 now the count. There's a strike, and it will be a full count on him. Hit up the middle. The second baseman fields that one, gets it to first in plenty of time. Who do we have playing second base? It's Hatfield who made that play. Threw to first, and there's 1 away. Here now is Roger Craig, the pitcher. It's a ground ball over to second, and that's Hatfield again on to first base, and there are 2 outs now. And that'll bring up Sandy Ambrose. He'll take a strike, 0-1. little foul ball, foul tip rather. It's a foul tip, but I've traveled kind of far for a foul tip. Be a ground ball over to third base, and this is going to be a single. That's an easy infield single there for Amoros. He hit that one really, really slowly, and Boone there at third base didn't have a chance at that one. And so Amoros gets the base hit here with 2 outs in the top of the third inning, and that will bring up Rube Walker. And he takes a ball, 1-0. There's a strike, 1-1 the count. That's a ball, 2-1. And there's another ball, 3-1 now the count. And he lost him. So Walker ends up walking. Puts runners on at first and second now with 2 men out for Frank Keller. See, I understand starting Keller. It's all of the other guys starting for Brooklyn I don't understand. There's a strike to Keller, 0-1. And a ball, 1-1. Up the middle, and that's through for a base hit. Looks like Bucky Harris is going to try to score, or I'm sorry, Bucky Harris has the ball. He's going to throw into the cutoff man. There's no need to try to throw Amoros out trying to score, and so the Dodgers finally get a run across. It's a 2-1 ball game. That'll bring up Pee Wee Reese, who's hitting cleanup. And there's a strike to Pee Wee, 0-1. Up the middle, that will be played there by the shortstop who goes on to first base for the out. Who do we have playing at shortstop? I probably should know this sort of thing. It's Harvey Keene, actually. Fields that one and goes over to first for the out, and that does it. So we go to the bottom of the third inning, and it's still a 2-1 lead for Detroit. First batter up there is the pitcher Hooft, and takes a ball high, 1-0. And there's a strike, 1-1. There's another strike on him, 1-2 the count. Hit over the right side, and that's going to be through for a base hit. Not sure what sound effect that was, but Hooft ends up with a base hit through the right side of the infield. They say that Gilliam and Keller collided. That must have been one heck of a play. The second baseman and the first baseman collided trying to field a ground ball. So I kind of would like to see a replay of that one. I'm trying to picture that one in my head. Anyway, one way or another, that brings up Harvey Keene, and the Tigers have something happening now. There is a ball to Keene, blown away, 1-0. And that's below the knees, 2-0. It's popped up out of play. Don't think Walker has a play on it. It doesn't look like it. 2-1. And it's hit foul over to the left side. That's line foul over to the left side. 2-2. And almost a wild pitch. That one got past Walker, but Hooft, not very fast, didn't have a chance to go anywhere. Full count now in Keene. Hit up the middle, that's 1-2, and the Dodgers end up turning the double play. That was fielded by Gilliam, who flipped to Reese, and then back over to Keller to first base for the twin killing. No, 2 away, and it will be Earl Torgerson. Torgerson takes the ball. And another ball, 2-0. It's fouled over to left side. 2-1 the count. I think that there's a way to turn off those foul balls if I remember right. This is hit over the right field, and that's deep, and that baby's gone. Earl Torgerson hitting a home run. Second home run of the ball game for the Tigers, and that makes this a 3-1 lead. Yeah, let's see if there isn't a way to turn off foul balls here somewhere so that we don't sit around watching those all day long. I can turn on dual monitor display, but unfortunately Windows only knows that I have a single monitor because I don't tell it about the other one. We don't talk about that, of course. Yeah, I'm not sure if there is a way to turn that off. Okay, well, that may have been OOTP that I was thinking about. A lot of similarities here between Action PC and OOTP, and we'll see that when we do play OOTP a little bit later on, probably in January sometime, because this will take me a while. Pace this one's going, it's going to take all day to play this. K-Line takes a ball, and there's another ball inside that time, 2-0. Outside, 3-0. Bounce to the plate, so Craig having a hard time, and he's taking all the way. There's a strike, 3-1. And there's ball 4, so K-Line takes his base. 2 men out here in the bottom of the third inning. Tigers now with a 3-1 lead, and that will bring up Ray Boone. Now, in real life, if the 1955 Tigers had actually done this, this would have really been a miracle season. I mean, you know, they had been in the World Series in 1940s. This would have been the first time in 15 years. I'm sorry, no, at 45 they wanted as well. So this would have been the first time in 10 years then that the Tigers had made it, breaking the string of Yankee victories. Of course, it's the 61 Tigers that we all know about, as Boone fouls that one away, 0-1 the count. And there's a strike that he takes, 0-2. And that's right down the middle. Boone kind of crossed up there by that curveball, didn't have a chance of that one, and down he goes looking, and we go to the top of the 4th inning. It'll be George Shuba here for the Dodgers. Now, I just know that somewhere in the comments, somebody who's more experienced with the World of Action PC will tell me that I forgot to do this or that to make sure that the Dodgers didn't put up the scrubs to play. There's the strike to Shuba, 0-1. So let me know, please, before I play game 2. 1-1 is the count. And there's a strike. It's 1-2. It's hit over to left field. That should be shallow. Should be an easy play there for the left fielder. And it's Delsing making the catch for the out. 1 away. Don Hoke now takes the ball way outside, or way inside, I'm sorry. 1-0. That's wrapped over to short. Looks like a good play down there. Close play at first base. Hoke is just barely out. It was Harvey Keene making that play. 2 away, and that will bring up Jim Gilliam. My apologies for not knowing the Tiger starters here off the top of my head. I wasn't expecting them to end up being so victorious. There's a ball in there to Gilliam, and a strike, 1-1. And another strike, so 1-2 the count. And that ball looks like it just missed, a little low. And another one, that one outside, full count now on Gilliam. Good eye on him, and he takes the walk. So Hooft looked like he was doing well in the early going, but he's having a few problems here with his control. So far today in the game, let's see if I can find this here. There it is. He's walked 3. 3 2/3 innings pitched. I'm not sure that he's even struck out anybody. There's a strike to Borkowski. Borkowski, not much of a hitter. 0-1. And there's a ball, 1-1. So you leave Duke Snyder on the bench to start this guy. 1-2 the count. And strike 3 as Borkowski looked at that one go past him like he was waiting for a bus. So we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, and it's still 3-1 Tigers. This will be Frank House leading this off. House takes the ball inside, 1-0, and there's a strike, 1-1. Ball, and it's 2-1. Someone's going to tell me I know that I need to set up the lineups myself. 2-2 as that hits the outside corner, and there's a ball inside. It's a full count now on House. And he lost him. So Craig ends up giving up another walk. That is 3 walks given up by Roger Craig. He does have 2 strikeouts. So yes, when you go down to this display down here, it does show you both the walks and the strikeouts when there's something to show you. And that'll bring up Bill Tuttle. Tuttle so far today is 0-for-1. And he takes the ball outside. There's a strike, 1-1. And another ball, 2-1 the count. Ground ball over to the right side, and that's a good play by Keller. Goes to the bag for the out. And House moves up to second base. And so with 1 out, that'll bring up Hatfield. Fred Hatfield, also 0-for-1 today. 3 hits for the Tigers, only 2 for the Dodgers. 3-1 Detroit as Hatfield takes the ball. And there's a strike. Swing and a miss on that one. 1-1. It's hit over the right side. That'll be through for a base hit. Throw to the plate is not quite in time, and House is able to make it there in front of Borkowski's throw. I'm not sure what Borkowski's fielding ratings are since I just turned that off. Right fielder 1, arm 3. I think the higher is better. Again, you can let me know down in the comments if that's the case. I don't know why this guy's starting. So anyway, Delsing comes up now, Jim Delsing, and the odd lineups chosen for the World Series are really the story right now. Delsing takes the ball. I have to look closely to make sure, and yes, Jim was a regular in 1955. There's another ball, 2-0, and another ball, 3-0. Borkowski, in real life, only played 9 games, had 19 at-bats, and here he is starting Game 1 of the World Series. So 3-0 the count now on Jim. And that's a strike. It's 3-1. And another strike, curveball, full count now. And that's ball 4 on him. So that was a little bit outside, I believe. Just misses. Yeah, there was another curveball, and that one just missed. And so there's runners now on first and second. It will be the pitcher, Billy Hooft, with 1 out. So you know what's going to happen here. He lays it down. It's a beautiful bunt. Walker fields it. Has to go to first base for the out. Looks like Keller ended up going to the bag himself, if I saw that correctly. I'm looking here to see if there's anything about the scoring anywhere. I'm not sure if I'm really necessarily that interested in it. So much for that. Anyway, so 2 men out now, runners on at second and third. That brings up Harvey Keene, and it'll be interesting to see if the Dodgers pitch to him. And they do. There's a strike, 0-1. And ball inside. Chin music, that was up high, 1-1. And what was that? That was a wild pitch over the head of Walker. Hatfield scores. Delson goes to third base. So maybe you should have walked him. Instead of doing that, Craig unloads a wild pitch, and that makes this a 5-1 lead for the Tigers in Game 1 of this World Series. So you wonder at first if this team even belongs here, and now you're wondering if they're not going to run away with the whole thing. Keene's still up there, and he takes a strike. It's 2-2. There's a little pop fly over to center field. Going to be easy for Amoros for the out. And we go to the top of the 5th inning, 5-1 Tigers. It'll be Roger Craig here. It looks like they're going to keep him in this ball game. He's thrown 77 pitches. His estimated count probably about 130 is what he can take. He's lined over to the left side and foul. That makes it 0-2. And there's a ball 1-2. Another ball 2-2. Don't know why you're trying to be careful with him, Billy. Full count now on the pitcher. And they lost him. So Billy Hooft suddenly is having some control problems, and that will bring up Sandy Almiros, the leadoff hitter. Interesting, though, that the Dodgers elect to keep Roger Craig in there despite him giving up 5 runs, as there's a strike to Almiros. I've been doing a lot of research, of course, in the 55 season. I'll tell you, at least in the World Series, they wouldn't do that in real life. They had these guys coming out of the ballgame in the 3rd inning when they gave up 3. A little pop-up by Almiros over to right field, and that catch is made for the out, and he's throwing the ball as slowly as he possibly can over to the second baseman. It was Kaline making that catch for the out. There's one away. Here now is Rube Walker, and he takes a strike, 0-1. The ball outside, 1-1, and another strike, 1-2 is the count. Way outside, 2-2. Inside, I guess. There's a swing and a miss by Walker, and down he goes. So there's 2 away, and that will bring up Frank Keller. Keller takes the ball that's inside, 1-0. Ground ball over to short. It will be, who is that? Kaline there making the play? I'm sorry, it will be Keene making the play onto first base for the out, just barely in time. And down go the Dodgers in the top of the 5th inning. It's still a 5-1 lead for the Tigers as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Hooft, I'm looking right now, has pitch count of about 70, and this will bring up Torgerson. Torgerson had that home run last time up, and he takes a strike as Roger Craig stays in there. There's a ball, 1-1. There's a strike. It's 1-2 on him. Ball outside, 2-2, inside rather. Popped up and out of play. I tell you, yeah, Walker couldn't get there in time. I'll tell you though, this chalkboard, as nice as it is, really is distracting and kind of tells you the wrong information. Funny part about that is that Out of the Park Baseball has the exact same problem, where the chalkboard doesn't necessarily match what's actually happening. Especially though with these ball and strike counts, it looks like it's inside but it's outside, and you never know what's going on. That's another ball, high and inside. See, that one looked like it was outside and ended up being in, so it's a full count now on Torgerson. Ground ball over the left side and through for a base hit. That's a poor play is what it says there on Pee Wee Reese. That's the cool thing about Action PC Baseball. It keeps track of these poor plays. So if you're trying to figure out if your 37-year-old shortstop is a liability, now you have a pretty good feeling that he might be. So runner on at first base now for the Tigers, and that'll bring up Al Kaline, who already has a home run. 1 for 1 today and has driven in 2. He takes a strike, 0-1. There's a ball, 1-1 the count. Another ball, it's 2-1. Up the middle, base hit. Torgerson will go to third, and he's got that one easily beaten. And Kaline, alert base running, goes to second on that throw to third. That puts Tigers on second and third base now, and nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. I don't know how much longer they're going to go with Roger Craig. This is a little bit odd. So one of the odd things that we run into here is that, with a lot of games, I'm thinking especially of Diamond Mine Baseball, you're going to see the computer taking guys out when you want them to throw a complete game. Action PC Baseball does kind of the opposite, I guess. Everybody's staying in the ball game, even though it's time to take them out. Ray Boone, hitting 4th, is up there now. In the replay, he had 20 home runs, slugged .476. Pop up over to center field. That's going to be caught. we have a chance to score? Yes, and we are going to send Torgerson home. And they're not even going to risk the throw, and that makes this a 6-1 lead for the Tigers. So 1 out now, runner on at second base is still Kaline, and here comes Frank House. House drove in 53 in the regular year. Fouls this one over to the right side. Out of play, 0-1. There's the ball inside, 1-1. And a strike. 1-2 now the count. Hit over to center field, and that's going to be it. Or the second out, I'm sorry. Ambrose makes the catch for the out. And it's pretty easy for Kaline to hold up there at second base. So 2 outs, and here comes Bill Tuttle. There's a strike to him, 0-1. And a ball, 1-1 the count. There's a strike, it's 1-2. 2-2 now. A little ground ball over to second base. That's fielded easily there by the second baseman. Who is that? I have to look over here. It's Jim Gilliam. That's right, I should know this. And he throws over to first for the out. So we go to the top of the 6th inning. You know, there is something that I can do here that might make it a little bit easier. If I look over here, I can use... let's see here. I think I can use their initials. Actually, you know what we can do? We can do large icons. Let's see what happens with that. So we'll try that for a little bit here and see if we like that. We'll take the small circle away and just sort of see what happens. Clicking all over the place. Who knows what I'm doing? That's a little bit more like it. So Reese pops this one over to left field, and that's going, gone. That's going to be a home run for Pee Wee Reese. It's over the head of Delsing. And that makes this a 6-2 ball game as the Pee Wee Reese has made up for his poor play there. And that was in the 4th or the 5th inning, I forget. 353-foot home run, and that'll bring up Schuba. Popped up over into foul territory. Hatfield running all the way over from second base, and he's got that one for the out. One away, and that'll bring up Don Hope. There was a ball to Don, 1-0. Another ball, 2-0. 3-0 now the count. There's the strike, it's 3-1. There's another strike as a full count. And Hoke tries bunting. Couldn't get the bunt down, and that's strike 3. So Hoke tries to bunt, tries to drag out a bunt with a full count on him, and it doesn't work. What was happening there? 2 away, here's Jim Gilliam who takes the strike. And a ball, 1-1 the count. There's another strike on him, 1-2. Popped up behind the plate, but that's going to get out of play in a hurry. Remains 1-2. There's the ball, 2-2 now the count. Ground ball to second, Hatfield over to Torgerson, and that'll do it. So the Dodgers get the home run by Pee Wee Reese, but that's it. And we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's going to be Hatfield, Fred Hatfield leading this off. I'm going to be honest with you, I probably should take some time to clean through these sounds because I'm not sure that these sounds are necessarily period appropriate. Here's a ball to Hatfield, 1-0. Not as bad as OTP can get though. A little fly ball over to right field, Burkowski's there for the out, 1 away. That'll bring up Jim Delson. Hits this one over to center field, and that's going to be a base hit. Interesting that the crowd doesn't cheer for that, but they make a lot of oohs and ahs when there's a pop-up to right. Little blooper by Delsing, and that gets him over to first base, and that'll bring up Billy Hoof, the pitcher, who's 1 for 1 today. He's going to sacrifice, of course. And it's a good bunt. Walker grabs it, throws over to Gilliam, covering it first for the out. That was a little bit more normal, so 2 away. And here comes Harvey Keene. 0 for 2, I believe. Yes, 0 for 2 with a walk. 2-0 now. 1-1, sorry, the count on him. 2-1 now. That's a ground ball to the right side and through the hole. Delsing's going to score easily, and that makes this a 7-2 ball game. So that is going to be it for Roger Craig. Roger Craig ends up going a little bit less than 6 innings, 5 2/3. Responsible for the runner on at first base, and it's going to be our good old friend Carl Spooner coming up there. So Spooner, we should have had Spooner sooner, was the cry from the Flatbush faithful back in 1954. Carl Spooner, the strikeout artist, but pitched 1955 with some discomfort and always had problems with his control. So here's Torgerson facing Spooner. There's a pop-up over to the right side. Burkowski's running after that one. He's going to run out of room, I think. Yep, he does. Not enough room. 0-1 now the count. Popped up over to the right side again, and everybody's cheering, but this one is foul by a mile. Borkowski runs over into the stands trying to make this catch and can't get there. 0-2. And there is a fastball by Spooner for strike 3. So he gets his man. That's what Carl Spooner is known for. And we go to the top of the 7th inning. Will be Borkowski and then probably a pinch hitter for Spooner. There's a strike to Borkowski, 0-1. And a ball, 1-1 the count. It's another strike to Bob, 1-2. That one just misses, 2-2. And that's in at the knees for strike 3, and Borkowski didn't even try to swing at that one. One away, and here comes Carl Spooner. And they are letting him hit for himself. Now Gil Hodges is going to be the pinch hitter. See, you can play these guys, right? Bizarre lineup decisions by the computer as Hodges takes the ball. If you had this in Action PC, I know a lot of you guys play this a lot. 1-1 the count. If so, let me leave me a comment. Let me know what to do about it. And Hodges, of course, gets a base hit up the middle, which is what you would expect. The runner on at first base here now for Sandy Almaros. There's the strike to Almaros, 0-1. And that's a ball high and inside, 1-1. Ground ball up the middle, Hatfield to Keane on to Torgerson, and that should do it. See if I called that right. I think so. Is it going to tell me? Well, whatever. I pushed up and then it just went to the next pitch. So that was very helpful. Thank you. Something weird about this here. So it's Russ Meyer who comes on to pitch for the Dodgers, and he throws a ball there to Al Kaline, 1-0. There's another ball to him, 2-0. And a strike, 2-1 now the count. Hit to the right side, and that'll be past Keller into right field for a base hit. And so Kaline has yet another base hit, and that will bring up Boone. Kaline has 3 hits today, 3 for 3. That brings up Ray Boone here with nobody out, bottom of the 7th inning, and the Tigers nursing a 7-2 lead. There's a ball inside on Ray, 1-0. Popped up deep over to center field, but not deep enough. Amaro able to go back and get that one. That's where, of course, it's an airport, 440 feet or so over to center. So 1 away. There's Frank House, who's 0 for 2. He pops this one up foul, 0-1. We're not going to run or do anything with Kaline. There's no need. 0-2 now the count. There was a ball. That's 1-2. Popped up, and that'll get out of play as well. Still 1-2. Hit over to right field. Borkowski there makes the catch for the out. Kaline holds to first base, so 2 away. And that will bring up Bill Tuttle. He takes the ball inside, 1-0. Another ball, it's 2-0. There's a strike, 2-1 is the count. 3-1. It's hit over the left side. That'll be there for a base hit. Kaline moves over to third base on that one, and Tuttle now has the base hit in this ball game. How about that? He should be 1 for 4. That'll bring up Hatfield. So Fred Hatfield comes up here, and everybody, I tell you, in this Tiger lineup is hitting. 10 hits here for the Tigers and only 4 for the Dodgers. There's a ball outside to Hatfield. A little dribbler in front of the plate, foul, 1-1. There's a strike, it's 1-2. Fly ball over to right field, deep but not deep enough. Borkowski there for the out, and we go to the top of the 8th inning. It will be Rube Walker here for the Dodgers, hitting second, which is kind of odd. I would love to know if he ever did that in real life. And it's Billy Hooft, who's still out there. He's got about 95 pitches, it looks like. There's a strike to Walker. A pop up over behind the plate. House gives chase, but it's out of play. It's 0-2. Little ground ball over to first base. Torgerson makes the play and goes... I'm sorry. No, it was a swing and a miss. Then House dropped the ball and threw to first for the out. That doesn't look anything like what happened. So swing and a miss. That means that Hooft gets the strikeout. That's the 5th one that he's rung up so far today. 1 away in the top of the 8th, and this will bring up Keller. And he takes the ball, 1-0. Little ground ball foul, 1-1. Ground ball over the left side, and that's like watching paint dry. 1-1 the count. There's a ball, 2-1, sorry. Another foul ball to the left side. I'm sorry, that's a fair ball, looks like. They're calling that one fair. Delson grabs it and throws in to Keane, and that's a double there for Keller. So hit number 5 for the Dodgers with 1 out in the top of the 8th inning. That was a very, very interesting play. It reminds me of some of the bad animation I've seen in OTP. There's the strike to Pee Wee Reese now, 0-1, and ball outside, 1-1. There's another ball, 2-1 the count. There's a strike, it's 2-2. And swing and a miss on that one, and so Hoof gets the strikeout, number 6 for him. 2 away, and it'll bring up George Shuba. Takes a strike, 0-1. Another strike, 0-2. Hoof is starting to pick up steam. There's a ball, 1-2. 2-2 as that one's just high. Full count as that breaking ball miss. And there's a swing and a miss by Shuba, and so down he goes, and we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. So Hoof getting himself into some problems, but gets out of them fine, and it will be Delsing and then Hoof. There's a ball to Delsing, 1-0. Little ground ball over to the right side. Kellert fields that one and goes to the bag for the out, 1 away. Hooft is 1 for 1 today with 2 bunts. Takes the ball. And a strike, 1-1. Popped up out of play. That's harmless, out of play. 1-2 now the count. There's a ball, 2-2. Full count now on Hooft, on the pitcher again. And he takes ball 4. So Meyer, starting to struggle, just walked the pitcher, Hooft, who's not exactly the most fearsome hitter in the world, and that will bring up Harvey Keene. Little ground ball to the left side and through for a base hit. We will send Hoof to third if he has a 90% chance, and Keene will go to second. Keene is safe at second, so I believe they'll give him a single on that one. He's 4 for 4 today with the walk, and Hoofed over at third base, still only 1 away, and the Tigers holding on, not just holding on to the 7-2 lead, but they're thriving. And here comes Torgerson, who already has a home run. And there's a ball outside. I can't believe they have Meyer staying at this ball game. Another ball, 2-0. Russ Meyer has gone 1 1/3 and has given up 3 hits and 1 walk. There's ball 3, and I think they're pitching around Torgerson. There was a strike 3-1. And 3-2, maybe not. And that's over the knees for strike 3. So Torgerson went window shopping and ended up having to pay the price. 2 outs, and here comes Al Kaline. There's a ball to Kaline that's high, 1-0. And a strike, 1-1 the count. Kaline already with the home run. Hits this one over to center field over Gilliam's head. Hoof scores, Keene scores. Kaline stays at first base. He too is 4 for 4 and has 4 RBIs today. And that makes this a 9-2 lead for the Tigers. So the Detroit hitting is absolutely overwhelming Dodger pitching. This brings up Ray Boone. Hit up the middle. It'll be Reese over to Keller for the out. And that does it. So we go to the top of the 9th inning. Now the Tigers leading 9-2, and it's going to be Billy Hoof trying to get the complete game, and must be his first World Series game. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. I might be wrong. First up is Don Hoke. It's a fly ball foul. Kaline running after that, can't get to it. 0-1. There's a ball, 1-1. That's popped over to center field. Tuttle goes back, and can't get it, and that's a home run for Don Hoke. Makes this a 9-3 lead now for Detroit. Home run over to 376 feet away to right center field. That must have been probably a little bit further over here then, if it's 376 instead of about 400 feet. Tiger Stadium's not necessarily that small in that direction. Here comes Jim Gilliam. It's a line drive over to left field. Delsing going to dive for this one, and he makes the catch. Absolutely tremendous play. I forgot that this game gives you that chance to do that. So Jim Delsing with a great play out there in left field. And there's 1 out here in the top of the 9th. I'll bring up Borkowski, who takes a strike, 0-1. Hit over to right field. Kaline has to field that on the bounce, and so Borkowski gets a base hit. That's a rarity for him in 1955. I'll bring up Meyer, who will not hit for himself. It's Jackie Robinson hitting for him. And here's Jackie. House goes over to the mound, speaks with Hooft for a little while. Left-handed pitcher throws a ball inside, 1-0. And there's another ball, 2-0. There's a strike now, 2-1 on Jackie. Ball misses, 3-1 the count. And a strike. It's a full count now on Robinson. Going to be a line drive base hit over to left field. Delsing fields this and throws it in. Borkowski's going to play it safe, and the Dodgers now have 2 on and 1 out in the top of the 9th. Hoofed is up to 125 pitches, but I think he can stay in there, and he throws a strike to Amaro, so 0-1. There's the ball, 1-1. If you started Robinson, you'd have a lot more of that. 2-1's the count. There's a strike, it's 2-2. And there's a swing and a miss by Amaros for strike 3, and Hoofed has struck out 8. The 2 gone, and that'll bring up Rube Walker. He takes the ball, 1-0. And another ball, 2-0, now the count on Walker. There's a strike in on him, swing and a miss, 2-1. Inside, that's 3-1. And a strike, so it's a full count now on Walker. Popped up, and that'll be out of play. House giving chase, but he can't get there in time. Full count. And swing and a miss by Walker, and that does it. So the Tigers able to win this one 9-3. Not sure why it says Brooklyn instead of Tigers there. I know that I changed that. Maybe I have to go back and change it again. 9-3, the Tigers win this one. 12 hits for Detroit, 8 for Brooklyn. It's Billy Hoofed who gets the complete game in this one. 9-3 is the final score, and here you go. We'll take a look. It should tell us who the stars of the game are. Yeah, it's Harvey Keene, it's Torgerson, and Kaline. And Hooft, of course, was probably, I would argue, one of the biggest stars of the ball game here for Detroit. So there you have it. There's a lot of nice stuff that Action PC Baseball makes for you. Like, you have your play-by-play summaries here. You have your more extended play-by-play summary there. You have a lot of information, the wind, the time of game and stuff like that. So there are some pretty good and interesting things that are going on with this game. You can go to film, although if I remember right, in earlier versions that would cause everything to crash. But we're not going to do very much with this. We'll just go ahead and exit it. And so if we click now on the playoff bracket, I believe, yes, it says Detroit 1, Brooklyn nothing. Now, the other thing I want to do here really quickly while I'm thinking about it is I want to make sure that we have, and see, look at this. I did change it to Brooklyn Dodgers. For some reason, it's not coming up. So who knows what the reason is for that? Who knows why anything in this game works the way that it does? But there you have it. So hope that, let's see, here we go. Hope that you enjoyed this. I enjoyed it once we got it working. So there you have it. That's it for Action PC Baseball for today. But we're going to have, of course, more of this coming up tomorrow and on until we finish this series. This one, of course, is free for everybody to watch. From now on, you're going to need to be one of the channel members to be able to watch this. So stay tuned for that. I have a link in the description. You can check that out. And thanks a whole ton for being part of this, and I will talk with you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.